So we're going through the cat's cat problem. I'm just making some files we can use for testing. Right? So we could test the script. Here, we're making a file with fruits in it. It's got apple, banana, cherry, and we have animals.
Matt, we can't see your screen.
That's great. I'm just making animals.
We could also have just done this writing, just making files in the shell, right? We didn't have to do this in Vim, right?
You don't have to do anything in Vim if you don't want to. I'm just using, you could echo these into things. So here we got dog, cat, iguana. And the last one we wanted was cars. This is just for my cars.text. Honda, Toyota, Ford. Cool. So we have cat file names, which is just some file names. We have some other files, animal, fruits, and cars. And so I want to write a script that will take in this file name that has a bunch of file names in it and will cat each one of those. Okay. So let's write that code now. We'll call it, what's the name of this code? Cat's cat. Oops, don't do that. Cat's cat shell. I'm going to say bin bash. We're going to echo hello just to make sure that we're not crazy. Or maybe that doesn't really make sure we're not crazy, but it does something. Okay, so we got that. So let's write our pseudocode that we want. We're going to say get the input file name. And so that we remember that's $1, $1, right? That'll be the first thing, the first argument. So we could save that to a variable if we want, or we could just call it $1, whatever we want to do. Then we want to read that file. So we'll say read that file. That's usually going to be done with a while loop. And then in the loop, cat the file, right? So when we're reading, when we're looping through a file in bash, we're going to get each line. And each line is going to be a reference to another file. We want to cat that file. Okay, so let's write some code that does this. So let's say file name is equal to $1. Then we're super explicit. You don't have to make it a variable, but I am. So I'm going to reference it as file name. Use the while loop, while read line. And then I put my do, I put my done so that I don't forget. And what do we want to do? Well, we want to run the cat command with that line. And then finally, we need to actually give this loop its input. What is it looping over? And we put it the $ file name. I think that looks good. All right, we got a simple loop looping over that input file. And then we're going to run the cat command on each of the lines of that file. Let's watch it. Let's watch me look silly or great. Cat's cat. And we give it the file names. Animals.txt is not a directory. What did I spell something wrong? Animal.txt. Move animal to animals.txt. Here we go. Cat's out everything. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I thought the program was supposed to write all of those into a new file.
Is that what it says? Let's see.
I think.
Maybe I read it wrong. Write a script called cat's cat. Takes the path to a file containing file name separated by new lines. For each file name found, add the contents of that file to a result.txt. Oh, okay. So we want to cat it instead of to a terminal to a result.txt file. All right. So let's move it into a results.txt file. So instead of catting these lines, we could say, what would we say? We could touch, oops. We could say touch results.txt. Instead of catting it, we can cat that line into .txt. And we can cat results.txt if we want it to cat out. We will cat it. We'll do it ourselves. This looks like it probably I should just echo this, not cat it. Cat line. Actually, no, it'll be a file. That should be fine. Let's see. Okay. There's our results.txt. And there it is. Yeah, we did it. So slight change. Apologies, but we got there.
So for file names, you just went in and you put a list of what the file names, so animals, cars, fruit, whatever, and that's that.
Yep. So I have a file of file names, and inside each of these file names, I just have some random junk I want to cat out and put into a new file. It's like I'm appending all of the stuff into one file. Cool beans.
Because you're appending everything into the results.txt, if you ran it again, would it just be double the length now?
Yeah, if I run it
Like,
again.
it wouldn't just like overwrite?
No, it won't overwrite. So let's cat results just to do that. Run it again to confirm. This should append everything to the end again. And so if I look at results, yeah, now I got the double, which is just fine. You know, maybe you want that. I could imagine a lot of scripts that we'll be writing to log files, right? You don't want to rewrite the whole log file. You probably just want to add stuff to the end. So it'd be something like that. Cool. Any questions? We have 5 minutes. I'm not sure if that's enough time to go over another one, but can answer questions on Bash. Talk about Bash scripting.
Can you talk about the last line in the code, the done, and like the file name and how the kind of redirection works?
Yeah, so we're already familiar with piping, right? Taking output of one command, put it into another command, right? We're familiar with greater than sign, which takes that output from standard output and write it to a file, right? Completely write it. And then we have this one, which is take that output and append it to the bottom of a file. And we also have this, which is this symbol, which is kind of going the other way, bringing an input and putting it into something. And this is how you feed file names into while loops with this less than sign. So I know it's a little bit different from Python, where we have the like with open, and that's like at the very beginning with the file name. But in Bash, you put the file name in the back here, and this is the input for this while loop. This is the thing we're going to be looping over. So if you're not familiar with this, you can get familiar with this as redirecting something from kind of like the right into the left. Like that.
Matt, you mentioned piping, which brings up we found a way to do this using piping and no loops. It only took one line of script after we had all the files set up.
Hey, let's find this. Let's check out this awesome solution you have then. I'm just going to quit out of that, and you're going to walk me through this sweet one-line Bash script. Super solution .shell. I'll do this part. In Bash, you tell me what you did.
So we have cat, $@ symbol.
$@ symbol. Okay.
And that gets piped into xargs, which is a command we found Googling solutions for this. Xargs, cat.
Cat.
Yep. And then output that into whatever output file.
Results 2. Dot text. That should be fine. So let's take a look at what this is doing here. We cat everything that, so $@ should
Yeah,
be.
you cat the file that has your list of files in it, and then the xargs will read those files.
Sure. Let's try it out. Give it, what do we call it? File names. And then we should have a results 2. And looks like that works as well. So yeah, there's a few, like, just like in programming, in Bash, there are different ways you can solve these problems. See, that brings me to, like, sometimes Bash is a little tricky because there's different ways you can solve problems. We're not going to go too far in the weeds. I'm happy that you guys are able to find xargs and find a solution. So yeah, that one definitely works. I don't know. Let me see if I can read through this and see if there's going to be any, like, edge cases where this would do something you don't expect. But I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Cool. So either way, I'll put both of these in your cohort repo when I update stuff tomorrow. That's cute one-line solution.
One quick question.
Sure.
How would you do that? Because I think I misread the question slightly, but how would you do this if you were just feeding in the 3 file names,
Cool.
as standard input?
Yeah, so we can loop over the arguments that come in. Let me see, what is it? Bash $, not at. Is it $at? Is that what I want? $. So let's do this. And if you want to go to lunch, that's fine. Go ahead. I'm not offended. So you're saying, how can we get it? You want the way that it'll work, like I could run cat and give it file 1, file 2, file 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So let's write a script that'll do it like that. Or I think we should just be able to change it. Oops. If we do, I want to do this as like a for loop then. Let me actually write this as a different file. I'm sorry. By cats or demo bash bang bin bash. Here I would probably use a for loop for file in, can I do this? $@ do done echo $ file. Let's just see if this does what I want. All right, so it'll do like that. So if we do that, instead of echoing the file, what did you want to do? You wanted to cat the file. Demo file names. There you go. It's catting file name, each of the file names. It's not actually going into each one and catting them out. So you might have to cat $ file for file and at cat file. Why isn't it doing? Yeah, you'd work at it from here. I don't want to go take too much time at lunch because I have some meetings. But when we come back, I'll go through and finish this for you. or you can finish it during lunch and show me.
Thanks.
But yeah, I would just loop over the things that come in, probably. That would be the way I immediately think to do it. All right, let me stop sharing. Let me stop this recording. You want to go to lunch? Go to lunch.